In Canada, we learn first aid in programs like Scouts, swim lessons at places like the YMCA. We learn necessary life-saving skills at a very young age. In Belize, that foundation of healthcare, it's not there. I'm not talking about advanced medical care. I'm talking about the basics. It's the simple things like direct pressure stops bleeding and how to splint a broken bone. How's it going, man?
Great.
Good to see you. A large percentage of Belizeans live on the coast, yet most of them don't know how to swim. Drowning is one of the leading causes of death. Can you show me where this whole thing took place, eh? Excellent. Do you want to jump in? We start by teaching basic first aid. We then go back and we teach that same group of people a little bit more knowledge. Then we return and we teach them again. And then we teach them again and we make them instructors so that they can then provide first aid training to the people of Belize. These are skills that I've had to learn over several years of my life. These are not just simple skills that you can teach somebody over the course of a weekend.
Keep going, you're keeping the patient alive.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Press hard, press fast. Once you start CPR, you don't want to stop.
Hello. You better spend the next side.
Keep going, guys. Keep going. Keep going.
When I first met Daryl, he told me about his relationship with the Red Cross in Belize and some of the work that he had already done there, teaching first aid and CPR, and how it all started with a school project.
And the project was, you're going to raise money and you're going to go experience another healthcare system, preferably an EMS system, somewhere in the world, get better ideas, recommendations, ways that you could come back here to home and improve our system.
Unfortunately, in Belize, there really is no professional EMS system to speak of. Certainly nothing compared to what we would consider to be an EMS system in Canada. Daryl had an interesting approach in that he didn't go to another country to study an EMS system. He went to help.
Our system was ranked one of the best in North America. So I'm a big, better bang for your buck type of person, and I didn't want to raise $20,000 to go on a class trip to New York to see that they drive Chevy ambulances and we drive Fords, or vice versa, and little minor details like that, when really our standard of care here in Nova Scotia and parts of Canada is really second to none in the world. Here we are, a group of 12 advanced care paramedic students, very well educated and trained in our field. We can help a lot of people.
We take the training, bring it here, bring that knowledge, and have the people who we taught become even more capable in those skills. And eventually take those skills and teach other people who lived here, so that the things that we're teaching would be able to grow. Right? So that's my hope, is that what we bring here grows. We're planting a seed, and as the plant grows, eventually it's just going to propagate, and we'll have thousands of people in Belize that are good lifesavers.
Halifax-based Bandage International assembles a 4-person team that flies almost 4,000 kilometers to Belize. There, they will spend a busy week providing first aid training to children and adults. The group on this expedition includes Dr. Paul Doucette, paramedic Daryl Chickness, and nurses Melody Chickness and Annie Mae Stevens.
At the beginning, I really didn't know what my role was going to be in Belize.
This is Annie Mae's first time in Belize, and her first time volunteering with Bandage International. She has worked in healthcare for almost 20 years. As a caring mom, she is eager to help out.
As things started to unfold, I realized that I would actually be part of the team, which is a pretty amazing feeling to be included in that.
I like the people in Belize. I love the culture, and the people there have always been very kind to us.
Melody is Daryl's wife, and this is her 3rd time to Belize with Bandage International. She is a critical care RN and has worked in the medical field for 12 years.
From my perspective as a nurse, having been to Belize, I can see that they don't have access to the same pre-hospital care that we do here in Canada.
You have to be careful because you can't be the be-all and end-all of healthcare parachuting into this country and saying to these people, you're doing it wrong, you need to do it this way.
Daryl Chickness is a critical care paramedic. He's also the president of Bandage International, an organization he founded in 2005 with a team of paramedics, emergency care nurses, and doctors.
They're doing the best they can with the resources that they have. So what we need to do is help them do the best they can with the resources they have a little bit better in a little different way than what they've always been taught, because they've never ever been taught that basic level of care.
It never stops. I mean, this sort of effort that we're doing here, this is almost, in a way, this is the easy part.
Paul Doucette is an emergency room physician. He was one of the first doctors to join Daryl in his effort to bring a better level of healthcare to the people of Belize.
As sort of trying as it may be, and logistically organizing things and moving things back and forth, people, equipment, information, and so on, preparing for this, making sure that it persists, that's where the real work is.
Belize is the 2nd smallest Central American country and the least populated by far, with a little more than 300,000 citizens. Mayan civilization once flourished here, but now the former British colony is renowned for its cultural and ecological diversity. On the trip, the Bandage International team will visit 3 communities to provide first aid training. They arrive in Belize City and will stop in San Ignacio, Punta Gorda, and Ambergris Caye, an island only a short flight from the mainland. Daryl has arranged for a driver to meet the team at the airport. They pack up and begin the drive from Belize City to San Ignacio, a smaller city about 100 kilometers to the west, just minutes from the bordering country of Guatemala. It's a short distance to travel on some highways, but with the road conditions in Belize, it will take hours to get there. It's already 3 p.m., and the sun sets at 5:30.
We left Halifax at 3 a.m. We arrived in Belize at 3 p.m. By the time we got to our hotel, it was dark, we were tired, and we were scattered. But the team knows we have a job to do.
We're on West Street in beautiful downtown San Ignacio, Belize. It is hot, it is muggy, we've got bags and gear all over the place, and we haven't even had supper yet. We've been in Belize less than a couple of hours, and we're ready for bed.
The team checks in at Martha's guest house and packs away the medical training gear for the night. Because tomorrow's schedule is so busy, much of the details need to be worked out over dinner before they can call it a night.
The work in San Ignacio is a big deal for us. It's really the first time that we've been able to work this close with a hospital, and we get to teach kids, a new generation of first aiders.
not a lot of anatomy, physiology, and medical emergency stuff.
Right.
They want to know the basics. So if somebody's bleeding, how do we put a dressing on? How do we stop, bleeding with direct pressure? How do we properly dress that? How do we splint a broken bone? How do we put a sling on somebody? Signs of, looking for an infection, if there is a laceration or a burn that could be getting infected. What are the signs that we need to look for before that person needs further medical attention? That kind of stuff. Signs of heat exhaustion, heat stroke, heat cramps, they've actually asked for that. So addressing heat-related illness. Lots of the kids were talking and they were saying that they knew like their baby sister choked, and so they're really big on the airway obstruction, and they want the CPR component of that as well.
Yeah, well, we should be able to accommodate that, I think, in one day, as long as we sort of keep the lesson trim, so that we're not talking a lot about the basic physiology and anatomy.
That's right. I don't want to be up in front doing a lot of lecture. I want them to be doing hands-on.
Absolutely.
The team has a game plan. They make their way to the hospital, where they will meet the nursing staff and the students of Sacred Heart College for the first time. As they arrive, Daryl sees the telltale signs of a problem.
There was a miscommunication with the administration here at the hospital, and we were stuck outside for quite some time, unable to gain access to the building, unable to gain access to the conference rooms once we got in the building. So we ended up with a group of students waiting outside, and people arriving at different times, and us unable to track down somebody with a key.
I remember thinking, that's not a good sign. Now, Daryl never plans on things going exactly according to schedule, but even this was a bit much. Losing an hour in an already tight schedule was a tough pill to swallow, and I think it really does bother him. We regrouped and we made some adjustments, and we were able to make the best of it.
With students keen to learn, it's obvious Daryl isn't the only one ready to begin training. While Daryl and Paul work with the students, Annie Mae and Melody check out the hospital with the nurse manager.
Yeah. Okay.
And all this is functioning?
Yes, all this. And then we have the CAT scan over the other side. But we do the CAT scan, we send it to Belize City, and then they send us the report.
I was really looking forward to working with the nurses in La Loma Luz Hospital to see how their role as a nurse is different from my role as a nurse here at home.
If needed,
They may not have the medical equipment that I get to work with every day. Even a blood pressure cuff may be hard to come by some days. However, I give them credit. They do an excellent job. This is bringing it right back down to the basics. This is nursing.
A hospital really, at its heart, I mean, the concept of a hospital, the original version of what a hospital is a place where you can go if you're injured or you're sick, and someone will be there that can help you, that knows about those things, and will try and make you feel better and do their best.
With a better understanding of the hospital and the level of care it offers the community, the Bandage volunteers can fine-tune the training they're about to provide.